listen to fall to the floor.
Hello, welcome back to another pen talk. Thanks for tuning in. You may be expecting a Chinese pen, but no, it's an American pen this time. This box is very familiar to some of us. Got an email. I'm on Karas Kustoms email distribution list saying that they were putting out a deal on the Barstock Fountain K. And as I don't have a Fountain K, I thought I would give it a shot. I do have an ink. So I ordered the pen. What's nice about Karas Kustoms website is you can customize the pen from different parts that they offer you. The barrel, the cap, the section, and the nib. Comes with your 5 cartridges and some explanation, a little bit of instruction manual. They're pretty consistent in their packaging, so I like that. And they're also machinists. They do wonderful work with metal, so to me that's really nice. And if you want a little sticker, you get that too. So this is the pen, the classic K clip, and in Karas Kustoms it's pretty stiff, but it'll slide easily over material. A nice black cap, and this is the Barstock feature. This is just raw machined aluminum, which has a little bit of character to it. Maybe you can see the chuck marks here from the way it was held into the lathe when it was turned. It has a nice feel to it. Unscrew cap, and so about 1.5 turns, with Karas Kustoms talks about being their go-to feature. So I added 2 things to it which increased the price. One, I wanted a copper section. I have a brass section on my ink, and I wanted a black nib just because I thought it would go well with the black cap, even though the pen doesn't post. And I don't have really a nib like this, so I thought that would be nice. It's a common, cartridge converter pen. They give you cartridges. It's a nice German converter there. So we're going to ink this up and talk about how it writes and how it feels in the hand. So one thing I think is very nice about these German converters is, part of the thing that you have is converters may be taken on and off, and you may get a little bit of wear. So this metal band helps keep that structural integrity of the end of the converter. It's just very, very well made. It has a good feel to it. It slides up and down. It unscrews, so you can easily take it apart to lubricate it, clean it, whatever you want to do. That's a very nice feature. So it makes this a dependable, long-term method of filling your pen. So let's take a look at the basic design before we put nib to paper. The cap and barrel are the same dimensions, so there's no step up or nothing there. It's nice and smooth, so it's a clean kind of minimalistic design. Definitely a functional design. With most Karas Kustoms, it does not post because of that dimension. I mean, they could have narrowed down the top here, but then that would have changed the look of the pen and not given that streamlined, consistent look. I wanted a copper section, even though it was more money, because I want to see how that ages. I'm not going to get a Montegrappa Mule, which is all copper. And one of the things that's consistent with Karas Kustoms is a Bach nib. You can see that hopefully the goat or sheep, whatever it is, I think it's a goat, and logo in the nib. And then your classic feet, pretty well saturated with ink. So I have to be honest, when I first got the pen, I was not prepared for this unfinished aluminum barrel. The description on the website when I ordered is very clear, but it just didn't sink in. I haven't decided whether to keep it this way or to modify it, which would be easy to do with some types of polishing pads, So we're going to leave it this way for a while because it does have a nice feel to it, and I do like this look. It is nice. Here's a comparison between the Fountain K and my ink. The ink is definitely a larger pen. This is that brown anodized aluminum finish. You know, the clip is different on the two pens. It just, you know, I enjoy Karas's design work. I enjoy their machine work. I enjoy the way that they incorporate metals, various metals into their pens. You know, stainless steel clips. You know, this one's spring-loaded. It's still pretty stiff. And the other thing that these pens share in common is a unique section. So there's a brass one on the ink and a copper one on the Fountain K. Hopefully you can see their size difference is also indicative of a bigger pen. You know, the copper has a much different color, well, a slightly different color than the brass does, and you got a black nib number 5 versus a titanium nib number 6, as it's a next size up larger nib, proportional to the pen. And the barrel there, I mean, I certainly have to say that from an aesthetics viewpoint, I find ink to be an extremely good looking pen. You know, I love the features of the screws on top to hold the clip in. But the Fountain K holds its own in its own way. It's obviously less money, probably about $20 or $30 difference between the two, but you can customize, kind of like when you go to the car dealership to get a car, and you can get the price up there, but at the end you get what you want, which I think is the real key. I would have liked to have been able to work these pens at a pen show, but unfortunately I was never at a pen show, so I took a swab at it, and I'm very happy with these two pens in my collection. To put in, and I chose this ink. I've got a number of samples, if you've seen some of my earlier videos, from Robert Oster, and I wanted to give this a try. Not certain how to work in this nib. You know, I filled it up, written a little bit, but let's experience it firsthand. Sorry, I bumped the tripod. Well, I think you can appreciate that, number one, this nib lays down a good patch of ink, and this is one dense color. If you spread it out, it does have an interesting shade to it. It's almost in the teal family. You know, Velvet Storm is kind of an interesting phrase to use. I'll look it up and see if there's anything that relates to it on what the Australian interpretation of a Velvet Storm is. So this nib is extremely smooth. We're going to put the mic right on the paper. I mean, this is as smooth as any nib I've ever used. I mean, you can't squeeze out really any change to this. It's certainly not a soft nib. I'm wondering if the black coating lends itself to the smoothness. With no pressure, it really glides across the paper. So one of the things that I've learned with my metal pens is not everybody likes a metal pen. So if you do like a metal pen and you like customizing a pen, I mean, I'm certain that my combination here is probably unique. So this is a one-of-a-kind pen, and considering it's very functional, made by an excellent American manufacturer, I'm very pleased with that. The Girograph definitely has my interest, but I have to admit that the price is slightly more than I'm comfortable with spending. Maybe if I get a chance to see it and play with it, that may change my mind, but we're going to hold off on that, and I'll invest my pen dollars elsewhere. So thank you for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video of an interesting American pen manufacturer and my second pen from them, and it's certainly a very excellent writing experiences, and I'm enjoying it. And I like the weighting that the copper section gives to the pen. You know, the aluminum barrel is very light. Kind of like the Lawyer pen that Sailor made there for a while. I don't know whether they still make it, but it had a weighted end to it. And that really lends to easy writing. So we're going to reach the end of this video. So may you have many great writing experiences. Enjoy ink, pen, and paper. Till later. Bye.